Madness has obviously already started, and while I try and check in round by round, obviously that opening weekend with all of those write-ups, it takes me a long time. I'm not complaining, no one asked, I just do it anyway. If you had problems with it, I do have some potential solutions, so I'll go through that in a minute. But realistically, for this video, it's a 1 and 2 round combination. I did small little write-ups for each of the rounds separately. And from here on in, I'm really going to try and do a video and a write-up per round. We'll see how it goes. Just that opening weekend, I like to enjoy it as well. What can I say? I actually like basketball. I don't just like running pools about basketball. With all that being said, if you know me, you know being concise is not my forte, so I'm just going to cut myself off of here, and let's get to it. On the guys' side, it feels like the last couple years we just keep waiting for these like electric, crazy first rounds. And maybe it's because often we fell in love with this tournament because of its crazy nature. I mean, I think of Bryce Drew and Valparaiso were some of the Gonzaga teams of the late 90s, early 2000s. I mean, there's a reason why Slipper Still Fits is the password for this pool and has been for almost forever. But the reality is, I think we are in a bit of a different game, but that doesn't necessarily make it a bad thing. We've had deep runs from double-digit seeds quite recently. It's not that far off. So when we don't get it, we can't really whine and complain just because it didn't happen this year and just because all 4 number 1 seeds won last year on the guys' side. More on that in a second. If you were an 11 seed, you did all right. And to be honest, that quote that I threw down in the article about the kids, when watching it and following along, they were exciting games to watch. And those 2 11 seeds within the same hour frame, and I know that because it was within the same class that I taught, the overtime game that VCU took, looking at some of the back and forth. I mean, Texas was involved in that one. Kentucky obviously hit a buzzer beater, but it was just kind of against the other side, you know. We always like it when the higher seed does it, but when the lower seed, it always feels a little bit different. And I think a lot of people were hoping Santa Clara were going to push through. We still had High Point, and that kind of gave us, I think, enough. But realistically, this might not be a terrible thing. Later on in this video, I'm going to rank some of the matchups I'm excited about. And if some of those top seeds knocked off, we wouldn't see some of those great matchups. So I think we have to understand that, yes, it sounds amazing and all the history of the upsets, but maybe we take what we can get and move forward, you know, and maybe we need to beware of some of our just urgency for it. I know I'll fall for it when Miami of Ohio come out and all we're talking about is Zerbiak. Maybe that's a warning for future kind of pools. If they're actually just talking about what happened 20, 30 years ago, maybe you shouldn't take that team. Same with Santa Clara. They both kind of burnt me, and maybe I just had a soft spot for them. Looking ahead, though, in the second round, we did get some, at least, spice. Obviously, a number 1 seed going out. It hasn't happened in the guys' tournament, obviously, for a couple of years now, but all of them making it to the Final Four, and it's not that abnormal that they would make it to the Elite Eight. So Iowa coming through, but this is not that major versus mid-major, right? Where normally that Iowa team would be a mid-major that had come together and didn't lose the players due to the transfer portal. Instead, we have Iowa, who we know they have a tough schedule. We have no mid-majors left. I put that in a little write-up as well. The fact that they weren't scared, they hit a big 3 at the end, and then I don't really understand. Florida last year was that team that had composure. This time they decided to drive and throw it at a guy's junk instead of passing to his hands. I'm not really sure what that was supposed to be, but they didn't have the composure, and they fell. First number 1, and maybe first for a while. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But the defending champions are out. And that's got to be exciting enough, I think, for a first round. I don't think we need to beg for a 15 seed to make the Elite Eight or anything like that, because when we look ahead to the matchups, they actually look pretty good. On the women's side, we do need a bit more spice, don't we? And I think we're still a year or 2 off. If you're following women's basketball, it is a super exciting time. Number 1, if you watch the pre-video, the WNBA did sort their crap out. Maybe it's not the best deal in the world, but they are going to be playing, and now at an accelerated pace. So for those who like it, expansion drafts are going to make a whole lot of noise happen in the next couple months. It should be super fun, especially for Toronto people out there. And I know there's some Toronto people out there. But on the women's side right now, until some of this high school talent pours in, we do have some top-end talent and some really, really good top-end talent. I think the problem is the mid-majors just can't compete. So the number 1 seeds in the first 2 rounds, I wasn't really excited about either of those games, but we did at least get some bust through. Now, I can count Syracuse as a 9, I guess. I'm not counting the Juju-less USC team as a 9 as an upset. I know technically 1 bonus point. That doesn't count. We did get UVA, and then we got the UVA over Iowa. So looking at Iowa giveth and taketh away within March on the guys and the girls side. That was at least exciting, and I think it gives us a matchup that probably isn't as exciting as maybe we were hoping for in the second round. But for the girls side, there's enough top-heavy nature to go through. I do think there's something to be said, and every year I kind of pick away at this. People who seem to run women's basketball both professionally and at the college level, I wonder if they watch women's basketball and if they know that it's good, because I don't know. So many of these things are solvable. The quarter versus half, I guess that's okay. I don't really understand why. I've read all the articles. It makes no sense to me. I know I complained about that a couple years ago. For those who remember my videos from 2 years ago, congratulations if you do. But the idea that the home team gets to host the whole first weekend, you get so many more upsets if you have neutral sites. It's just the way it is. I know they don't think they're going to have as much to fill out areas, but you don't know until you try. And right now it is an emerging market. I think we're going to see it, but unfortunately, it's just taking a bit too long. I'm going to point out something else that is super easy that just shows the difference in how it's covered when we get to the bracket, because Yahoo could even be a little bit better. And the fact that there's not a one shiny moment for women's basketball, I mean, that's just gross. I don't do this every single round, but in often pools that I run, if you're in any of the fantasy football stuff that I do or basketball, I don't like to say what I think ahead of time, because obviously then it can change what people could do or gives away what I'm thinking. This, it doesn't really matter. We've already set our team, so I don't think you care so much what I like and what I don't like. Either way, on the site, I did rank it just quickly. The matchups coming up here, going through 8 through 1, ones that I'm personally excited about. On the women's side, the bottom 4, 8 is UConn UNC, 7 UCLA Minnesota, 6 Southern Carolina and OK, and then Texas and Kentucky at 5. I think Texas and Kentucky is probably the best we have for an upset. I don't see it happening. And the number 1 seeds are still just a little bit better than all of those. I think in the next round we get some spicy ones, but the top 4 should be good. I think TCU and UVA should be super interesting if the 10 seed can keep rolling. Michigan, Louisville is probably one of the biggest pool impacts. I think some people felt weird about going 1-2, 1-2 all the way through in the Elite 8, so they had to pick a couple games, a couple 3 seeds to bust through. Now TCU was 1, and that's a little bit different now. It's not an upset, but Louisville over Michigan is more common than you might think, and I think that'd be an interesting one. Notre Dame and Vanderbilt, super interesting when you got high-end talent like Bridges and Hidalgo going after each other. But the number 1 for me is going to be, and this is going to pain me to say because you're going to hear in the men's side something similar, Duke LSU. This is almost split within our pool. Again, I think a lot of people liked the late surge from Duke, or maybe they just liked the 3 seed and didn't want to take 1-2 all the way through. That's the one I'm the most excited to watch. On the guys side, from 8 to 1, what I'm excited for, honestly, Nebraska Iowa could be fine. Winner probably gets corn, but I don't know. I'm not super pumped about that one. Should still be fun, and realistically, I kind of want to watch all 8 of these games, so being the worst isn't that bad. Texas Purdue for me would slide in at 7. Again, Texas should be fine. Purdue's just not really a super exciting team all the time. I think that matchup could be a little bit weird. I'd love it if Texas just busted through, especially if you were someone that had either BYU or Gonzaga. You're probably just wanting the top seeds to go down. Next up for me, weirdly enough, Michigan, Alabama. In some of my pools, I have Michigan going quite far. I do really, really like watching Michigan play. So I'm pumped about this game. It's just, for me, I had to rank something there. I put ISU Tennessee next. Also odd because I have ISU in a bunch of pools. I like the way they play. I'm just a little nervous about the energy factor, and I kind of just want that one to go my way, so I'm a little nervous for that one. Throw in UConn, MSU. I am crazy excited about this game, so for it to be number 4 just gives you an indication of what I'm really pumped about. I think that's going to be both of those guys kind of a way of running a program. I think there's a weird hatred there, and I don't really know why, but I'm going to love the tension in that. On the other end, I don't think it's tense, but I think the basketball styles of Arkansas and Arizona is going to be super interesting. Can we stop our top-end stars? And Acuff is looking great. I don't know. I think Arizona still goes through, but I'm real interested to see. The 2 spot, Houston, Illinois, clash of styles. For those who love the KenPom, offensive rating for Illinois is supposed to be through the roof this year versus Houston smack you in the face and hit you in the nards defense. Gotta love that. And I hate that Duke's at the top again, but man, Duke St. John's, I'm so pumped for that one. You can just tell by the way Pitino is moving, talking, acting. I think he knows in a realistic way St. John's probably isn't going to win the whole thing. Well, he might think that. They're probably not. I think this is a kitchen sink game for those who like Bill Simmons. He uses that a lot. I think they're going to throw everything at Duke, and I think they honestly think they can beat him. And at this level, believing sometimes is good enough to make some madness happen. Taking a quick pop in at our pool. I know you can look at all of this, but there's one or two things I just wanted to show quickly with the site and everything. So congrats right now. Now, if you did take a look on the guys side, we go based on numbers. Every 10, I usually add some. So we do have 7 potential winners here. Plus, I do break it down by division. So there's hemisphere and continent based championships here. And you do technically get your money back for last place, but I'm not going to focus on that. Right now, congratulations to Jackie, who obviously still has her champion. But if you took a look, she did take some dings in the final 4. We got Rennie and Shane. Shane was our round 1 leader. He's hanging on here. And obviously with Arizona, if you want to see how these two stack up in terms of the rest of their picks and finals for us, feel free. Cougs, well done. I mean, you're here with Gonzaga. Now you just want chaos to reign. You had a great start and you came out of the gate. You were top 2 in the first round. Jake with Jake 2 here, tied with Cam. So obviously still in the hunt here. And now tied for a current cash spot, although Big Al's not feeling too big with UNC going down. Chainer's probably feeling pretty good with Duke. He's probably not cheering for the St. John's craziness that I was. And Tom being the first one left out of the prize pool as of right now. On the women's side, don't feel bad for Tom quite yet because he's currently top dog. Now, you notice the points are quite tight here. That's normal, especially with the lack of upsets. But Tom took advantage. We got, it looks like Maudie here at second. And then we got a 3-way tie for third. Top 3 get paid out for the women's. And we do the money back on the last one. Not enough for divisions yet. Once we cross 50, we might get there. Brinley, Raf, Horst in the American Pie themed this year. If you're not really sure about Horst, if you don't actually know him, he picks themes every year, usually movie related. Started with trilogies, now he's expanding out to universes. So if you're wondering why would he pick that one, it's because it's like his 10th or 15th time he's tried to pick franchises. He's gone through a lot if you want to look through the years. Anywho, Brinley looking right now to be our youngest currently in the hunt. And obviously with Tom on top and just outside on the guys, he's probably interested in both right now. So congrats to everyone for currently being there, but I know you know it doesn't matter now. Look at a lot of UConn here, so we have to go all the way down to a Rathwell, all the way before we get a UCLA or something else a little spicier. So we'll see how that pans out. The only thing I wanted to show, I'm not going to always look at the website, but I just wanted to click on it quick because I heard a couple things with the, they've made a change with Wix and I'm trying to sort it out. I'll see if I can get it by the next weekend. But if you're on the mobile app, it works a little bit differently. If you go to the computer, that's when you can kind of go in, and if you look each side, you should have your names fairly clearly there. If it's too big, you just have to go control minus and it goes a little bit smaller. So if you go on it and you click on yours, that's where you get to see your pick. I did not do much of a write-up for me, nor do I ever. And this was kind of, everyone gets their own. So we'll put my dogs on there just because that's kind of cute. But if you're having problems with that, I spend way too much time looking at stuff like that. So you might as well let me know if you can't have access to it, and I'll help you out through there. 2 rounds in 1 meant a little bit rambly. Who knows how long this is going to end up being, but hopefully I kept it interesting enough, and hopefully you can watch it just either before or during the 3rd round. I do wish everyone good luck. I think we know that this is really the key focal point. We go from 16 to 8 in the next 4 days, but let's just focus on the next round and get into that Elite 8. If you can get more than half, 5, 6, or 7 out of 8, you probably still have a chance if you find a Final Four skill kicking. If not, you just want chaos to reign. So either way, any way you choose to enjoy the next couple days, hope you have a good time. Good luck, everyone.